few
Okay.
yeah, few classes.
Mataji.
We are new to the new to this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, kids. All right. Janavi,
Hare
I saw
Krishna.
you in Damodar as Mataji was saying, and you are back onto Govinda again. So much of attraction for listening to Krishna Katha. Hari Bol. Okay, kids, so we can get started. I think all of you are so familiar with the verses. Probably we will go really very quick on the verses today. Before that, we will start our sloka and I will share my screen. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Are you able to see my screen, kids?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Okay, who has not yet gone on recitation of the prayers? You can, whoever has not yet done so far, they can lead the prayers today. If you have done already,
Mataji, can Advait go?
Advait, you haven't ever recited the prayers?
I have with everyone.
Oh, with everyone. No, you have not led it, right?
No, Mataji.
Okay, dear Advait, go ahead.
So, how do I lead it?
No, you just recite, we will follow along. Like we will sing along with you. Om Ajnana
Okay.
Timirandasya,
Om
like.
Abhyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya
चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha
नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय
Krishnaaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste
कृष्णकृष्णसारस्वते देवे
Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry I'm late. Acharya Deshatayine Jai
Yeah.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
Okay, very good job. Thank you.
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
All right.
These are the old shlokas. We went on to 35, 36 and 37.
Okay, let me go to Vedat base then. 1 second. Sorry, kids, I didn't paste the new verses. 35, 36, and 37. Okay. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
No, Mataji, it's on the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. Okay. Are you able to see it now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. All right. So let's take 3 people at a time. I see Tulasi, Mukund, and Janavi. Can you please recite this verse for me? Again, go slow. You should. That is the. I want one of them to be the leader. That is whoever has a loud voice and a good tone. They can go, and the others can follow along with that person. Okay, like how Advait led today, we will follow him. Like that, we will have somebody as the leader. You can choose amongst the group and then follow.
Mataji, can I try?
Next verse. Okay, we are having 3 people now who are going to recite this verse. Okay, all right, 1 2 3, go ahead.
बृहत्सामततासन्ना गायत्री छन्दसामहं वसनं मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरा.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. That was very, very synchronized. Okay, whoever has got a chance, please put your hand down. We will have the next set of people recite the verse. Okay, Prasanna, you can go now, and then we'll have Balaram and then Krishna. Okay, these are the next set of 3 people who will be reciting the next verse. Okay, yeah. 1 2 3, go ahead, go slow please.
तेजस्तेजस्विने महां
द्यूतं च तेजस्तेजस्विने
Sarvam Sarvavatamaham.
I think lot of, see, somebody is saying now, somebody said before, it was completely not synchronized, okay? But we have to try our best to go in harmony, okay? So that is the training that we need now, okay? Next time, whenever I ask you, even if you are lagging behind, join the other person, whoever is going ahead of you or whoever is leading the group, okay? That way we will make sure that we are harmonized, and that way we'll please Krishna. Otherwise, it is all very, I mean, it's not just in harmony, okay? Next time we can try that. Or do you want to try again reciting this verse with a little more synchronization, okay? One more chance for the same set of people, okay? Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Dyutam
Okay, this was better. If you want to go slower, no problem. Don't have to rush it, okay? That way we will all be synchronized, okay? Okay, please put your hands down, kids. We can give chance to the next set of kids who has to recite this verse. Whoever has gone already, you can put your hand down, okay? I think Krishna has already done. You can put your hand down. Kavya, Saina, and who else wants to go? One more can go. Kavya, Saina, Moksha. Okay, dear. Mokshit, yes. So I'll count 3 and go slow, okay? 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
Vrishinam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Apyaham Vasa Kavinam Usana Kavahi. Hare Krishna
Wonderful,
Mataji, thank you.
wonderful. This was awesome. Very, very good speed and very slow, very nice, very synchronized, okay? All of you all should follow this example. It was perfect. Okay, let's go to the translation part, and I will give you opportunities so you can read the translation. Okay, 1 second. Whoever has not got opportunities, please raise your hands. Okay, Sanvi. I don't think Sanvi got any opportunity so far. Let's make Sanvi read. Okay.
Of hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Brahat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Mrigashirsha. November to December. And of seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring.
Good job, Sanvi. Okay, next. Okay, 1 minute. Who wants to go ahead now? Whoever has not got opportunity, please raise your hand. We can make sure to read now. Okay, Kartika, do you want to read, dear? I don't. Advait, okay, go ahead, Advait.
Wait, Mataji, I read the translation.
I already said, Mataji.
Oh, yes, Kartika, you want to read?
Mataji, the translation.
Translation, dear, I highlighted it.
Oh, okay. I am the gambling of cheats and the splendid of the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Thank you, Mataji.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Advait. Okay, the last verse, that is the translation. Okay, let's make sure.
Mataji, if everyone has already read, can I go?
Yeah, Saina and Janavi are there. Okay, you both can read the translation one after the other. Okay, go ahead, Saina. And then Janavi can read.
Okay. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. And of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Usana.
Yeah. Okay, Janavi, go ahead.
Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vrishya, and among the great Thakura, I am Ushana.
Wonderful. Now coming to our story and coming to our PowerPoint. Where is it?
Mataji, can I ask
Yeah.
one question quickly?
Yes, dear Mukund.
How many stories do we have for the moral studies session today?
Moral stories is going to be by Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Yay. Good job. Good question.
Mataji, but how many stories will we have?
We have 3 stories actually. Mataji is going to do 3 stories today.
Wow.
It's going to be a connective story altogether. So I will let her to do that. I'm also waiting for that session. Okay, kids, so we can get started now. All right, so today is a beautiful story. What is the quality that we are seeing of Krishna? He is the performer of wonderful varieties of pastimes, especially the childhood pastime. So what I have done is I am going to talk to you all about one of the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna. Okay, now let's see what pastime we are going to see. We all saw a lot of pastimes of Krishna already, but today's story it's about Krishna's reciprocation with the fruit vendor. Okay, so let's all understand. And what I will say is next 15 minutes, okay? Next 15 minutes we will have, I'm sorry, did I stop the screen share by mistake? Okay. So the next 15 minutes, what is important? It is listening time, okay? After that, we can have question and answer session and then have Vinita Mataji present the moral story for us, okay? All right, kids, is it a good idea? Okay. So there was a fruit seller who lived in Mathura. Okay, she had heard from some persons that whoever were coming to Mathura from Gokula, that was a very beautiful. They heard about this beautiful, charming child, about 2 years old, and he is the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamma, and he lived in Gokula. So everybody told this fruit seller that there is this person who's very, very nice. There is a beautiful child and is a very charming child. He's just 2 years old and he's none other than son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamma. And where does he live? He lives in Gokula. So when somebody arouses this kind of interest upon somebody, then our anxiety will start to increase. Oh, I want to see that beautiful child. Like that, this fruit vendor is thinking. Like how if somebody talks about some new model cars, if boys are fantasized by that, then they want to hanker to go to the showroom to see that car. This fruit vendor is hankering to see the Lord, that is Lord Krishna, who is just a 2-year-old. She wanted to have darshan of him, so she took some fruits in her baskets and went to the area of Nanda Bhavan, the home of Nanda Maharaj. There she called, oh Phala, take fruits, take fruits. Phala means in Hindi it is fruit, right? So she's telling, take this fruit, like that. In Mathura and Vrindavan, there were so many fruit sellers everywhere, and she could sell fruits in that way. So there is no dearth of selling the fruits. Everybody was willing to buy the fruits, and so she was able to sell these fruits everywhere. But when she came to Nanda Bhavan, that time Krishna was actually sleeping, and sometimes what happened, he used to play, and sometimes he was in the lap of Mother Yashoda drinking her breast milk. So she never had a chance to see him because he was so busy. Krishna, he was so busy. Whenever she came to sell the fruits in that area, she never got darshan of Krishna because he used to be engaged in, what are the activities he was engaged in? He was engaged in playing, he was engaged in drinking milk, and he was also engaged in sleeping. And this way, she was not able to get the darshan of Lord Krishna. Moving on to our next slide. One day she said, today I will go to Nanda Bhavan and I am not going to return because till I get the darshan of Lord Krishna, I am not going to return at all. This is what I will do. So she made a vow to do or die, meaning her objective was Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. We all know the verse from Bhagavad Gita which talks about one-pointed intelligence, right? And this is the objective of this fruit vendor who wanted to go to Nanda Bhavan, and till she took the darshan of Lord Krishna, she never wanted to come back. So like this, there is also a point that the lesson for us that we need to learn. We should also try to make a vow like this. And make a vow meaning we should not just make a vow. Oh, okay, let me just don't do this because it's not good for Krishna consciousness. Let me not play video games. Let me not watch unnecessary YouTube videos. We can make a vow like this, but we have to be determined to follow it through. This fruit vendor, she was determined. She had the nishta to follow it through, not just telling that, okay, I'm going to, till I get the darshan of Krishna, I'm not going to move away from this place. She's just not saying it, but she is following it up on her promise. And having made this promise, she called out, Falalo, Falalo, take this fruit, take this fruit. Gradually, she forgot to say this and instead called, Govindalo, Govindalo, take Govinda, take Govinda, Damodar lo, Damodar lo, take Damodar, take Damodar, Madhava lo, Madhava lo, take Madhava, take Madhava. In this way, she was chanting Govinda, Damodara and Madhava. See how she's easily performing. What is she doing here? She is performing the devotional service, that is calling out to the holy names of the Lord. Nama Sankirtan, right? The easiest way to see Krishna or get darshan of Krishna is by performance of Nama Sankirtan. And this fruit seller, she is adopting this process as the gopis did. That is what is mentioned here. When Krishna disappeared from Rasa dance, they also sang his name so that he would come back. So when Krishna actually disappeared from the Rasa dance, the gopis actually called out his name so he would come back. Like other fruit sellers, this lady was practicing in her carrying her basket on her head, meaning she had a fruit basket like this. It was on her head. Okay, she was not using her hands at all. She was just placing the basket on her head, and like that she will walk along. The fruits are not going to fall and the basket also is not going to fall. So much of she had so much of practice in carrying that fruit basket on top of her head without even using her hands. And then what happened? She could even dance easily without it falling from her head. So this basket was laying on the head. It was like this. It was completely placed here. She had her hands off the basket, but still she could dance. She could say Madhavalo, Govindalo, Damodarlo, like that. She could dance with the fruit basket on her head. And the fruit did not fall down. The basket also did not fall down. So that much she's seamlessly able to carry that fruit basket on her head. In this way, from morning until 12, she looked out for Krishna, 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 like that she's calling out, right? Sankirtana Yajna is being performed here. At last, she came tired and sat down at the door of Nanda Bhavan. How will I see Krishna? How will I see Krishna? How will I see Madhava? How will I see Govinda? Like that she thought to herself. At this time, Krishna, he took some corn, wheat and other grains from the storehouse. He was quite naked, wearing around his waist only a gold chain with tinkling bells, the sweet sound of which sometimes charmed even himself. So as you all can see in the picture, he is wearing this, he's wearing his tinkle bells that will make some sound, and he was wearing the gold chain. And all the ornaments, the Krishna is adding beauty to the ornaments which are worn on him. Okay, the ornaments are getting beautified by having it on Krishna. That is the beauty he gives to the ornaments. Okay, and then he picked up some grains, and what did he do? He walked over to the fruit seller. The grains actually fell off from his fingers. He's just a 2-year-old boy, right? He was just trying to carry whatever he can with his fingers. And like this he was carrying, and while he was carrying it, he was trying to hold it as much as possible, but there are gaps here and there, so it will fall down eventually, and it's not possible for him to keep it all intact. And that's why the grains happened to fell off through the fingers, and only 2 or 3 grains remained. Okay, nothing much remained. With greedy eyes, Krishna looked towards the golden yellow reddish fruits. There were bananas, there were grapes, there were kadamba, and so many other fruits. Oh, give me the fruits, please. Like that he said to this fruit vendor. And this fruit vendor, we all know, she made a vow that she will not move out of Nanda Bhavan till she actually gets the darshan of Lord Krishna. So she stayed through, even though she was tired. Till 12 o'clock, she didn't get darshan. So now she's waiting in Nandabhavan, and Krishna gave his appearance, and Krishna gave her a darshan, and he asked her, give me some fruits, give me some fruits, like that. And then what happened? The fruit seller looked at him and totally became charmed. Wow, this is what I wanted. I will give them to you. You sit on my lap and call me mother. So that is what she asked. Okay, you come here, you sit on my lap. Okay, you sit on my lap, Krishna, and you have to call me what? Mother, ma. You have to call me Amma. Like that, he told to this lady. And this was a big problem for Krishna. If I'm sitting on her lap and addressing her as Amma, he thought everyone will laugh at him. What should I do? This was a big confusion for Krishna. What should he do? Whether to call her a mom or how to sit on her lap? Everybody will look at me and laugh at me. How can I do this? Like that, he thought to himself. Then he looked quickly like this, here and there, everywhere. He looked, okay, is anybody seeing me? Is anybody looking at me? Is anybody watching me? Like that, he actually looked everywhere. And when he saw that there were no witness, then he quickly, for a moment, he sat on the lap of the fruit vendor and said, Amma, give me some fruits. And then he jumped off. Okay, so what did he do? He was like proactively looking here and there to see if anybody was watching him. When he realized nobody was watching him, what did he do? He quickly sat on the fruit vendor's lap. He called her mother, and then he jumped off from there. The fruit seller happily began to give him fruits with so much of happiness, because her heart was overwhelmed and flowing with ecstatic love on seeing Lord Krishna. Not only seeing Lord Krishna, but she was able to have him on her lap also. So what a fortune, right? What do you want? She asked. He replied, I want this, I want that fruit, I want this fruit, I want all the fruits here, like that. At first, he held out his hands, and then he took more and more fruits. Okay. Then he held both the arms close to his chest. So how much ever he could carry, you see in the picture how many fruits he is holding. He gave him 2 fruits first, then 3 fruits, 5 fruits, and more, until his arm was completely filled up. So this was showing her love, right? She was she even if he were to take 100 fruits or the whole basket, she wouldn't have hesitated to give it to Lord Krishna, because she felt so happy that this fruit is pleasing Lord Krishna. So either ways, 2 fruits, 3 fruits, 4 fruits, or 5 fruits, doesn't matter. Till his arm was completely filled up, she gave everything to Lord Krishna. Looking here and there and dancing, he went to his mother and put all the fruits on her veil. Okay, so Yashodama, he actually went to mom and gave everything to Yashodama. And then what happened? Oh, from where have you brought the fruits? She asked him. And she quickly began to distribute them. Although hundreds of gopis came and took those sweet fruits, the supply never diminished. It was unlimited. And what became of that fruit seller? She was sad. She simply sat in her deep thought. Her heart had been stolen by Lord Krishna, and without her heart, she could only be absorbed in remembering him. So now what happened? When Krishna went to Yashodama's house, Yashodama started to distribute the fruits. Even though he carried only limited quantity of fruits, those supply became unlimited, right? Because the gopis were coming, they were wanting fruits, and that supply of fruits became unlimited. And because and what about the fruit sender? What is she doing? She was simply absorbed in the thoughts of Lord Krishna. So her heart was completely stolen by Lord Krishna. So she was completely absorbed, like remembering what had happened with Lord Krishna. After some time, someone came and asked her, why are you here? Fruit seller, hello, why are you here? What are you doing? Somehow she came back to her senses. Then she said, she remembered her duties also. She took her basket and started for her home to Mathura. So midway near where Yamuna was flowing, she began to wonder, why is my basket so heavy? I thought because giving fruits to Krishna, I thought it became light, but suddenly now I feel so much of heaviness of my basket. You know, she just carries it on her head, right? She doesn't use even her hands to hold it like this. If it were for me, then I would just hold with my hands too, just to make sure that it doesn't fall off, the basket doesn't fall off. But with her, she's so trained that she doesn't even hold her hands. And she was wondering, what is going on? My basket seems to be so heavy like that. And when she removed it off from her head to see why was it so heavy, then she realized that this basket was full of diamonds and other jewels. She became completely astonished. She put it on her head, but then threw it into the river Emuna. She had no need for all the jewels. So uh, that is what happened with her. In the eyes of the world, she had become totally mad. She was not concerned about whether her veil was on the head or off or what her condition was. She was completely in trance. In fact, that condition was described to be greater than that of trance. So this is what happened with her. After the darshan of Lord Krishna, she became completely absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna and all this. So like in Gita also we see, right? I mean, the devotee of the Lord never differentiates a gold or stone. I mean, for him everything looks the same. Like that, for this lady, because she's absorbed in the thoughts of Lord Krishna, remembrance of Lord Krishna, even the diamonds and jewels seems to be of no use to her. All that she wanted was to be absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. She became completely maddened by the love of Krishna. She immediately took her body and gave the position. So what happened after she went back? Where did she go? She went back to Goloka Vrindavana. Like how Krishna gave a position of mother to Putana, that is a position of nurse, right? And like that, he also gave her a place in Golokadram to serve him there. That is the mercy of Lord Krishna. Thinking her to be the mother, Krishna called her out as mother and gave her a position far superior to Putana and Kubja also. So that's how he is so merciful, because in this case, she voluntarily wanted Krishna to be her child. So she kind of had that motherly affection for Krishna. So he was even able to award her a position superior to even Putana. So in Goloka Vrindavana. So that is how merciful Lord Krishna is. And so from this, there are so many realizations that we can get. Obviously, whenever we take one effort to remember Lord Krishna, Krishna will give us so many thoughts to remember him. It is just he's just one turn away. Like if you turn towards the super soul, if you turn towards the Lord, he will make all arrangements so that you can have his darshan through the form of holy names, through the form of the deities. However you want, the Nama Sankirtan, ninth process of devotional service, we can always have the contact with the Lord. That is what he would do. So this is what is seen, right? Through bhakti, if your bhakti is very high, then in one's birth you can achieve a destination like this. Everybody can go to Goloka Vrindavana if we have that intense hankering for Lord Krishna, intense hankering to serve Lord Krishna, intense hankering to be with him, to enjoy with him, to serve in one of the rasas with him. So that way we will be able to be situated in our internal swarupa, right? That is our internal swarupa. What we are now is the conditioning that has to go away. When our conditioning goes away, then we will be able to realize the internal swarupa of us, and we will be able to have a relationship with Lord Krishna. So which is what we see through the story of the woman, the fruit vendor. Okay. And what else is seen? Krishna doesn't care about what we have done, who we are, because we are eternal souls. We simply have to offer little love to Lord Krishna, and that way he will reciprocate his love. Okay. He just wants to see our sincerity, because see, remember this story, she doesn't want to give up on her vow. She wants to be sincere. And because of her sincerity and determination, she was able to see Lord Krishna. So that is another lesson we have learned, and this is just a summary. So any question, kids? I'll just leave 2 minutes for question and answer session, and then we will end so that Vinita Mataji can take it over from here. Any questions, Advait? You have your hands raised.
No, Mataji, that was from before.
Oh, okay. All right. Any question, kids? Did you all like the story?
Yeah.
Okay, good, Mukul.
Mataji, I joined late.
The story was
Hello, what did you say, dear?
This is Moksha. I joined a bit late.
Oh, no problem, Moksha. I'm glad you joined. So we don't have any questions. So are you all okay? Can you all? Okay, dear. All right, so let's do Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa
Nubhaya
Sindhubhyeva
vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mukund, we made it so fast. Krishna Mataji, welcome. We all have a
Hare Krishna
beautiful...
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Mataji. This is Mukund.
Yes, I'm going to eagerly listen for her story as well. So let's give the opportunity to Vinita Ganzarvika Mataji to present the moral stories for us. Yay!
Yes. Hare Krishna kids, welcome. Can you be quiet, beta? Hare Krishna. Can you all see my PPT?
Yes, Mataji. The appointment was there.
All today, this evening, I'm so very happy because I get to be with you only very few times. I'm so happy that I can do some moral story today. Let's see a few moral stories in the story. Can you all be on mute?
Yes.
Yes, very good, kids. Okay, the first story is an appointment with the death. Oh my God, it's very scary, right?
Yeah.
Death.
That's Yamaraj. I feel like that means Yamaraj.
Yamaraj, yeah.
Yeah, that's so scary.
Scary. Okay, once there was a rich merchant, okay, in Baghdad. So he wanted to entertain his friends. So what did he do? He wanted to entertain his friends. So he called his servants. Servant, come here. Then servant came and he asked, go to market and get some entertainment things for my friends tonight. So he's planning entertainment like a party. He's throwing a party to his friends in the night. So as you wish. So what the servant is saying, as you wish, master. So servant is very obedient. And he's saying, the owner is saying, merchant is saying, okay, take this money and get me some necessary things that I need for my party tonight. So he took the money and he went to the market. So when he went to the market, what happened? He went to the market and he was searching the things to buy. Suddenly, in meanwhile, somebody caught him. He was very scared. Who is that pushing me? And he wanted to just turn and see back. What did he see? So scary. The demon, I mean the death personified. He was so scared. He just ran. He just ran. Oh, master, master, master. Please, I don't want to die. Save me, save me. So then immediately he reached to the master. What happened? Master asked, what happened? Why are you looking so worried? Where are my things? Why did you come with your empty hand? Then immediately the servant is saying, master, please excuse me. I went to market to buy some things, but someone pushed me. When I turned back, I saw horrible death personified standing just behind me in the market. Please save me, master. Please, please save me. So then I don't want to die. Please save me. Then master was thinking I should do something to help my servant. So then master said, okay, all right, go to the stable. In the stable, there are some of the fast running horses. What you do is you just go to Samaram, which is 2 hours from our place. Okay, you go there, you will be completely safe. Maybe there, the death personified will not come and kill you. So then servant think, oh, that's a great idea. Let me go there. So then he took the fast horse and then he started riding. And he's thinking in his mind, oh, now I'm going to soon reach Samara and then I'm going to be safe. Then now in meanwhile, what happened? Master was thinking, let me go and see who is this death personified. Let me go to the market and check out. So he looked around. The master went to the market and he looked around. He saw in the corner someone loitering. Who is that? He went there and he saw, and then he saw that death personified. He asked, who are you and what are you doing here? Then he says that I am the death personified. And then why are you picking my servant? Why did you trouble my servant? Leave about your servant. Someday I'll come for you also. then forget about me. But why did you pick my servant? He's asking. The master is asked. And then he said, I did not push your servant, but I was surprised to see him here. I have appointment with him in Samara in this afternoon. So what is the death person of fate saying? Actually, the appointment of the death was not here. It is scheduled. It was scheduled in Samara. But suddenly I saw him here. See, look that. So what happened? Actually, what happened? Can you all guess? The master himself sent him to the death personified to fix his death over there.
The master himself encouraged the servant to go to death and led him to death.
Yes, that is what it happened. So what?
But no one can escape death no matter how hard you try.
No one can escape death. Look, whole story. The master was thinking that I am helping him, but he was not helping. Instead, he only put him into the death. Let's see the next story. Okay, knowing the art. So here, this story name is called Knowing the Art. One person was going in the car on the road, and suddenly the car was broke. So he wants to take it to the mechanic for the help. So he went to the mechanic. So he asked mechanic, can you help me fixing in my car? Then mechanic said, yes, sir, I can do it. So then what happened? So mechanic said that it will cost me $100. So the owner said, yes, if you can fix me, I'm ready to pay you $100. Then mechanic took a hammer, just a hammer. Okay, it just bang on the engine like this, tap, tap, tap. He just hit on the engine. That's it. Car started working. And the owner said, that's so pretty easy. Are you going to charge me for this $100? Then the mechanic said, yes, sir. Because if you don't know where to hit, you'll be ended up in some other problem and your car is going to get more problematic and it cannot run anymore. So then the owner thought that's a good thing. What you said, I can understand. You're right. If I am going to hit on my mirror only going to get broke, right? And then where I'm going to drive the car, I cannot take anywhere. So that's a correct thing what you said. Okay, let me pay. He will just pay the money. So what is the moral? What Prabhupada is saying here is, Prabhupada's God brother said him, how do you are going to make the brahmanas in the western country? They are malakshas, yavanas, lakshasas. And Prabhupada said, you have to know the process. That's all. It is very simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So what is Prabhupada saying here? That's it. If you know the idea what to do, if you know the process what to do, it's very simple. If you don't know, then you will end up with a problem. But Prabhupada has a clear idea what he has to go, and he has blessings from his spiritual master. So then he can immediately change anybody. So that is what we saw. Within no time, Prabhupada has changed whole world. So let's see the connection between here with the stories. Two stories. Okay, what we saw, it is not enough just knowing we are in trouble. It's not enough that I know that, oh, I am in a trouble right now. I have a problem. We should know who is the right person that can save us from the trouble. In the previous story, we saw the servant went to the master for help. But who was he supposed to go? That we will see in the next story and try to connect all three stories, okay?
Oh, wow, you have 3 stories?
Okay, this is the last story, okay? Dinabandhu Dada. So in the village, there was a Gurukul, okay? The teacher was teaching all the students. In those days, Gurukul means there is no any school fees or anything, but they just give some necessary things what the teacher needed. Some students used to get it from their parents. Some used to go and beg it and give it to the teacher as a dakshina. But no, education was not in the cost of business. No, education was completely given on the free basis. Where, study is not sold there. So one day, what happened is there was a poor student in this Gurukul. So the teacher, the Gurukul teacher's father's death anniversary was going to come. in few days. So then teacher asked, what all you are going to bring for the contribution? Then one person said, okay, I will give the cloth. The Brahmana teachers who would never charge anything. As I already said, they never charge anything. So this small boy who is very poor student, he asked, the teacher asked him, what you are going to contribute? Then this student, this poor boy, sir, I cannot give you any promise before I ask my mother. Let me ask my mother and let you know what I can give you. So he went to his mother and I asked, everybody in the class are contributing something. So what shall I give, ma? For what can I promise for my teacher that I will get for you? I'll get for the teacher. So then Ma said that, my dear son, we are so poor. We cannot give anything, but God is Dina Bandhu. He is a friend of all poor. He gives, if he gives something, then we can promise. So his mother is saying, right? We actually don't have anything. If Krishna gives us, so then we can contribute. Actually, we are thinking that we are earning, we have a lot of money. Everything is coming from Krishna. If Krishna thinks that we are not eligible to get that, immediately our job is gone. No money, no food, no shelter, nothing. We saw in the Corona time also, right? People were like gone, their money, everything is gone in few seconds. Their life is gone. If Krishna thinks we are not eligible to stay here, he can take us. So in the same way, this mother was explaining very nicely to his child that everything is getting from Krishna only. So then this boy is asking, where is he? Then, well, I understand that he is in forest. So mother said to the child that he is available in forest. So Dinabandhu brother, so he was like, this small boy is going in the forest and calling, Dinabandhu brother, Dinabandhu brother, Dinabandhu brother, where are you? Where are you? Like that he's calling. So then Krishna came. So then he was saying all the story to Krishna and asked, what can I promise Krishna? Like that. What can I promise Dinabandhu brother? So then he said, you promise. Krishna said that you promise that you will supply yogurt. And the boy was very happy that his Dinabandhu brother is going to give him yogurt. So then he came back to the teacher and said, my Dinabandhu brother said that he will give me yogurt, so I'm going to get you yogurt. So next day for the ceremony, before that he needs to get the yogurt, right? He went again to the forest and again he was calling, Dinabandhu brother, Dinabandhu brother, where are you? Where are you? So like that. So then Krishna came and Krishna gave him yogurt and the boy was so happy. He said, Dinabandhu brother, thank you so much. So then he took that yogurt pot, very little, small, tiny pot, and he went to the teacher. But teacher was little puffed up here. Means he was like, thinking that, oh, everybody gave me so many rich, opulent things. You just brought yogurt and that too very little, small pot. He's not valuing it. So now what happened? Let's see in the next story. Continuous of the story, what happened. So what happened is, so as I already said, all the people brought everything and you just brought this one tiny. So what, he did not care for that tiny pot of yogurt. So he just put it in the corner and then he was doing his work. So the pot fell down and the teacher saw that pot has fell down and he picked it up and he wants to put it properly. So when he picked it up, he surprisingly saw that yogurt yogurt is there again full. So then he want to check it again. He just threw it again the yogurt came again. So then he came to know that, oh, this is not the normal yogurt. This is a spiritual yogurt. So what do we understand from this story? What Prabhupada is saying for this particular story is Om Purnamada Purnamidam, means Krishna, even though he is present in everybody as a Paramatma, as a super soul in everybody, but he is still complete as a whole, as a supreme personality of Godhead. So now what is the connection between these three stories? Let's see. So we see that this the story, the poor student was just depend on Krishna. So we should also always depend on Krishna, because Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And there is a famous quote that is Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake. If Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can save him. If Krishna wants to protect someone, no one can kill him. So what would have that servant do? That servant would have pray to Krishna and surrender to Krishna, right? So that is the story. I don't know if you all liked it.
I liked it.
Can you all just say me?
I liked it.
I liked
It was very nice, Mataji.
Mataji.
Mataji, it's very nice.
It
But
was
the
very nice.
third story, I heard about it.
Oh, you heard about it?
Yeah, I heard the third story too.
So you
I
also,
think I heard the yogurt story, Mataji. That's a pretty common.
yeah, yoga story. But the connection, I just wanted to bring.
that story, Mataji.
Oh, thank you, children. Thank you so much. You all like the story. I'm so happy. So
I like the story, Mom.
I think we have still more time. I just wanted to share one a nice story. What it's not a story, actually, real thing that Adi Gadadhar Prabhu was sharing in his class
Mataji, thank
about
you
the
for
same thing.
3 stories.
What is that?
Thank you for 3 stories.
Thank you, Moksha, for listening it attentively. So I'm going to share this one more real thing that had happened to one person, one rich person who came to America with his family here. So he is very rich, so he just came for the trip here in America. So what happened is he suddenly ended up with getting the cancer. So he took a treatment in a big #1 cancer hospital, and he cured everything. He escaped from the death, and doctor said, you are safe, you don't have any problem. So then what happened, he just went back to India. And after that, he was okay for 1 year, 2 years, it was okay. Suddenly one day when he was going out for a walk, he was just walking outside, nothing. And one car came and dashed him and he died. See the game, like he just came here and he took the treatment. He was so happy that he was saved from the big danger of the cancer. He was saved. But see what happened? Finally, he had to die. So when the death comes, no one can save us except Krishna. So we have to utilize our human life, the tiny, lifespan we have. Always surrender to Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, think about Krishna. So that is the one which can help us at the time of death. Death is common. We have to live today or tomorrow. So what can help us? Like we saw so many times, I think in Govinda class, we already learned that story of, the lion and the lion cub.
Oh, yeah,
And,
I know that.
when the lion is carrying the lion cub is so happy to be in the lion's mouth. But if a person is in the lion's cub, how it is going to be lion's cub? If a person is in the lion's mouth, how it is going to be there? It's very scary for that person, right? But the cub does not have any scare to stay in the lion's mouth because it's his mother. So for a devotee, that is like being with.
There's an example with the crocodile or the alligator. When the babies are born, the mom keeps all the babies in their mouth so she can transport them from the water because they can't swim yet because they're too small.
Yeah, see? So but the babies don't get scared because they know that it is mommy.
Yeah, and also I wanted to tell that about turtles. Like when turtle baby is born, they go in sand, and like the mother turtle puts them in the sand. Some people think that it's sad, but when the turtles know after they come out, they already know how to swim. They know how to take care of themselves. They don't need any help.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Thank you for sharing that. So for a devotee, that is like that. We are in the safe hands of Krishna. For a non-devotee, it is very, very scary.
Mataji, every single lion have something unique about them.
What is that?
Every single person has something unique about them.
Yes, correct. So these are the stories, and today's class ended very early.
Thank you, Mataji, for
some stories.
Thank you, Vrinda, for listening the story. Okay, let's close the call for today.
Bye, Janvi. Bye, Janvi.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji करने के रूप नाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीमती जी हरे कृष्णा।
नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, गोविंदा ग्रुप की जय। Bye bye kids, see you all tomorrow again.
हरे कृष्णा।
All.